Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. And I wanted to come in this morning because I wanted to have a little morning chit chat with you guys. I'm going to discuss some pretty important topics today. And this is going to pertain to real life situations, things that you can use in everyday life. Okay. We're going to talk about our health, because I always like to start off my segments, with something, giving you something, some information about helping you with your longevity. And also, I want to talk about something that just recently happened in my family. And it's really important. I'm going to talk about the importance of you guys having insurance. And it's not just life insurance or anything like that, but even full coverage auto insurance. I'm starting to see a trend, especially with our young people, where you guys are not taking it seriously to insure yourselves and your vehicle. Full coverage insurance does not only cover the other vehicle, but it covers you too. And not just for repair of your vehicle, but if something happens to you in that accident, you can get recovery for it. And I don't think enough people understand the importance of this. I know that full coverage insurance costs way more than just liability, but it's a liability not to have it. So we're going to delve into a lot of things today because recently my oldest daughter, Diamond, she lives in Chicago. I live in Phoenix. She was in an accident, okay? And it was a really, really bad accident. And I hadn't been coming on talking as much because I was dealing with this. And, I had to swallow my pride because I thought that my daughter had herself covered. I had talked to my children extensively about getting full coverage insurance for automobile accident. And my daughter is young, she's in her 20s. Well, she didn't listen. Okay? She did not listen to me. And so she was driving home late at night. It was foggy outside, and in Indiana and Chicago, especially in Indiana, they have the worst roads ever. So the roads were icy, it was foggy, and she couldn't see. She ended up slamming her car into a tree that was located in a ditch because she couldn't see and the roads were icy. And she sped into that tree at 50 miles per hour. So now, my daughter is recovering in the hospital with a hole in her head. She has a deep gash in her frontal lobe. Now, thank you, Lady Love. I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers, but I'm here to tell you guys, I'm going to talk to you all like the mother, like the sister, and the best friend that you never had. Because in the Black community, we don't do enough of telling each other the things that we need to survive in this world. See, it's all the time we have to depend on GoFundMe's because we don't have insurance. So my daughter is going to be okay. I just want to first of all say that she's going to be okay in spite of her injuries. Thank God she's fully coherent. She doesn't seem to have any brain damage, and I'm grateful that she survived and that she's alive. So I just want to say that first and foremost. Now, with that being said, when we had to, because after you have an accident, you have to shift through and you have to kind of, try to salvage what you can after having these accidents. And I was so sure because my daughter had just purchased this really nice car. I don't really recall the make and model, but it was a beautiful vehicle. Okay, it's sporty. I have to go back and look at the picture to get the make and model of it, but I was very, very impressed by, the sportiness and how sleek and nice it was. And she only had the car a week. When she crashed that car into the tree, that car was completely totaled, guys. And when I say totaled, it's unrecognizable. Like I said, it is a miracle that she survived. And my daughter is in the hospital, and all she could think of was her car. And I said, no, honey. I said, don't you worry about that car. I said, that is what the insurance is for. Don't you worry about that car. That's what the insurance is for. Your insurance, because you had full coverage, it is going to total out your vehicle and it's going to pay off whatever you owe for that vehicle. And I said, and you got the gap insurance. So whatever, if they don't, if they underbid your vehicle for whatever reason, the gap insurance is going to come in and it's going to cover what the car insurance didn't cover. So I was trying to assure my daughter that she was going to be okay because I just knew that she had that full coverage insurance that I told her to get. Needless to say, young people don't listen to you. And I'm really starting to see, and I'm really starting to understand how young people just they think that they're immortal. They don't think ahead. They don't think that these things will ever happen to them. So, needless to say, my daughter finally told me some days later after she was released from the hospital, because she seemed to be completely overly concerned about things. And I kept telling her, I kept repeating over and over again, that's what the insurance is for. This is what the insurance is for. I kept trying to reassure her. And finally, my daughter broke down and she began crying. And she said, Mom, I didn't have full coverage insurance. And when my daughter said this to me, my heart sank because now it was like, okay, it's getting serious now. My daughter had just started working, so there's no FMLA. At the very least, the insurance would have covered her. And this is what I want you guys to understand. Full coverage insurance is not just for repairing your car. If you're in an accident and there's no other party involved, like my daughter hit a tree, so there would be no other party involved. Full coverage will cover you. It's not just for liability. It's going to cover your car. If your car is repairable, it will repair your car. If your car is beyond repair, it will total out that vehicle and pay it off so that you don't owe that lien holder. If you have medical bills, there's an injury portion in full coverage insurance that will cover your medical bills. And if you have to take time off work, Full coverage insurance will recoup you for any time that you had to take off work, as well as recoup you for your pain and your suffering. Now, this is the situation that she finds herself in. Because she just started working, she has no FMLA. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, these companies don't give a damn about you. My daughter went to her company and told them that she was in a car accident, that she is in recovery, and that she can't work. And she wanted to know if she could get FMLA. She's only 4 months away from qualifying. You have to be on your job for a year to get FMLA. She didn't qualify for FMLA, guys. So now she's even deeper in the hole, because when you have an accident, your bills don't stop. They don't stop. So you know what they told her? There's nothing that we can do. Human resources don't care about you. The human resources in your company is going to look out for the best interests of the company. So, with that being said, they told her that all they can do is give her her vacation time. And she had been there less than a year, so she didn't have very much vacation time saved up. So this puts her in a precarious situation, because she's got months of treatment ahead of her. Months. How many of you live paycheck to paycheck? How many of you got money saved up for at least 6 months rent and utilities? I'm going to wager to say not many of you. My daughter didn't. This is why I was telling her, please get the insurance. That's what the insurance is for. It is the equivalent of having 6 months savings when you think about it, because it's going to wipe out your debt, and it's going to recoup you for any time that you had to stay off work. It's going to do all of that. And then what you have is peace of mind. And then you can focus on getting better. How many of you ever been in a situation where you've been sick, but you couldn't focus on getting well because you were worried about your bills? This is a much needed morning talk, because I promise you, there are many of you who found yourselves in this situation. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be. Even if you don't have the 6 months savings, just having full coverage accident insurance is the equivalent of that. Just having that. So here's some things that you can do if you find yourself in the unfortunate situation that my daughter's in. There are resources out there, okay? But they do come slow, and you have to get the ball rolling fast. There is such a thing as temporary disability. That means that you are temporarily disabled and you cannot work due to a disability. So if you're in an accident, you have a hole in your head, you got cracked ribs, and your doctor says under no circumstances can you work, you can apply for temporary disability. And temporary disability will kick in for you, but you have to do it immediately. And even if it takes time for them to approve you, all the time that you've had to wait for approval, that money is accruing and they will have to pay you in a lump sum. So these are things that you can do. Also, if you are worried about paying your rent, there is a thing called emergency rent assistance, and damn near every city has a form of it. This is also something that you have to jump on immediately. And you want to do it while your injuries are fresh. You want to go to the doctor, any x-rays, any labs that doctor order, MRIs, CAT scans, you get them, because this is going to help with your disability claim and it's going to help you with your emergency rent assistance claim. Emergency rent assistance in most states will pay your rent up to 3 to 4 months. These are resources that a lot of people don't know that they have at their disposal when these types of situations happen. You do not have to be homeless. Now, these are last, resort type situations, because once again, there's no guarantee that you're going to be approved right away for these things. But those resources are out there for you. And I'm going to have this talk with you because these types of situations is when it is perfectly okay for you to apply for assistance. If you're in a situation like this where you are hospitalized and you cannot work, these are resources that you have every right to, you pay your taxes for, and you have every right to apply for this. Similarly, if you cannot work, you can get medical assistance through your state. And if you can't work and you have no money to buy food, you can get food assistance as an individual with no children. So these are all the things that I'm currently walking my daughter through right now because she didn't have insurance to back her up. And she wasn't on her job long enough to get FMLA. Now, as for the vehicle that she just got 3 weeks ago, because it's been 3 weeks now, she's going to have to file bankruptcy to get the cost of that vehicle off of her, because there's no way that she's going to be able to pay it, not with her not working. So this is the reason why, people, insurance is important. Make sure you cover your ass, CTA. My grandmother used to say it all the time. She said, Faith, no matter what you do in life, you make sure you CTA, cover thy ass. Because if you don't look out for you, your employer is not going to look out for you. Okay? If you have family that isn't rich, they're not going to be able to look out for you. Unless your family is rich and they're rocking like the Rockefellers, they're not going to be able to do it. You have to look out for yourself. You have to care about you enough to ensure that you're okay. I can't stress this enough to you. And so if your mother and your father didn't tell you, I'm going to let this story that I'm telling you today about what's happening with me and my daughter right now, let this be a cautionary tale. Now my daughter is she's doing better. She's going to have plastic surgery to fix the hole in her head. So among other things, she has a GoFundMe. And I'm going to probably at the end of this video, I'm going to leave the link to her GoFundMe up. She's going to need skin graft surgery to fix the hole in her head. So she's learning. She's definitely learning. It's unfortunately that she had to learn like this, but now she knows. It's important, people. It's important. Don't have to get, how can I say it? Some people, in order for them to know that the stove is hot, they have to get burned. Don't be one of those people that got to get burnt before you know that the stove is hot. You know that stove is hot because you can feel the heat when the heat is on. And if your parent or somebody older than you that's more knowledgeable than you is telling you, hey, that stove is hot, I got burnt before. Don't you go behind them and have to get burnt yourself in order to believe that the stove is hot. Good morning, Joe W. Joe W says, my son was just in an accident and his vehicle got totaled out. Thank God he had full coverage. Exactly. Exactly. Joe W., I can't tell you how many times my full coverage insurance saved my behind on numerous occasions. And the injury portion, when I had to take time off work, my full coverage insurance, when the other person didn't have insurance, and that's the other thing, a lot of these people running around here with no insurance at all, not even liability, and they will ram into your car, messing your stuff up, and they ain't got insurance the first, and then they'll have a nerve to try to run. They do. It's real bad out here in Arizona, real bad. So, you know, that time when Grandmaster Troll had that stream and he was so mad at niggas. I'm going to tell you what Grandmaster Troll was mad at. He was mad at niggas because this person was in the parking lot ramming up his car and then took off. And when that happens, the burden is left on you to pick up those pieces. And I'm telling you, it's a situation that you just don't want to be in without insurance. It's hard to pick up them pieces when you broke. Joe says, I'm broke like the Jones. I'm with you. You know, like, broke people need insurance. If you're broke, you cannot afford not to have insurance. As a matter of fact, when you broke, your insurance is the first thing you need to pay. I'm gonna be honest with you, because when you don't have nothing, it's gonna be hard for you to rebuild from nothing. extremely hard. Most of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Most of us can't even rub two pennies together to get a savings going. That's how bad things is, especially after COVID, when the rents and everything went up, the cost of food going up, the cost of living constantly going up, but your wages not going up. A lot of people are finding it hard just to rub two pennies together to make ends meet. Now, before you might have had some leeway, but now it's harder than ever. You need your insurance. I don't care how broke you are. Ain't nothing more broke than the person that didn't have insurance and now they got to rebuild from nothing. So you need insurance, especially if you're broke. Broke, five broke. Yeah, I think we're all part of that fraternity. I think that my sorority is broke, five broke. Okay, that's my sorority. My sisters, they come in broke, five broke, mm, 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 mm. Broke, five broke. Mm, mm. Yeah, we all broke around here. So get your full coverage insurance, get your life insurance, okay? If you're young, life insurance is so cheap. That's the other thing. Get your life insurance while you're young. My cousin, I think he died, and his parents had him a $200,000 life insurance policy from the time he was a baby. And he was only paying like $15 a month for it. That's it. Get it while you're young and keep it. Don't wait until you old and you start having ailments like high blood pressure. Don't wait until you old and you done fucked yourself up because you like to drink and you like to smoke and you done did crack. Some of y'all know y'all did crack. And now you're an insurance liability. And trying to get insurance when you have pre-existing conditions is hell. And on top of it, you're old. Don't wait till you're old and you have pre-existing conditions to get any type of insurance. That's the other thing that some of you, your parents not talking to you about. Now, if you already old, you done hit past 35, because past 35, that's when shit started getting expensive. Please don't be a smoker. Oh yeah, Joe W., you know good and daggone well the 80s and the 90s. Come on now. Some of y'all came up here in them 80s and the 90s. Some of y'all on YouTube, I ain't gonna say no names, then got busted out for smoking crack. Ain't gonna say no names. So yeah, it's a lot of crackheads running around here. Please don't be smoking, don't be doing hard drugs, trying to get an insurance policy or any type of medical policy. They gonna ream you through the ringer. When you go and get a medical or insurance policy and they ask you, are you a smoker? Please say no and then plan to stop. Okay? Because if you say yes, that you're a smoker and you've been on heavy drugs and all this other stuff, now they got systems in place now where they can go back in your medical history. So even if you try to lie, they can pull up what type of medications you were taking. If you try to lie and say that oh, I don't have high blood pressure. I never had high blood pressure. That happened to me one time. I was trying to get a low insurance rate. So I lied and said I didn't have high blood pressure. Them motherfuckers went in their system and said, hey, don't you, isn't your pharmacy CVS pharmacy? I'm like, yeah. And don't you take hydrochlorothalazone? How the hell did you know this? Yeah, and don't you also take losartan? Yeah. How the fuck did you know? I'm looking around for the crystal ball and shit. Like these motherfuckers are magical. No, they got these systems. So take care of yourself, okay? Stop smoking. Throw away the sugar. Stop eating bread and flour. Just cut it out, y'all. Cut it out. Joe W says when you hit 50s is when stuff really starts falling apart. I can testify to it. Trust me. Shoot, Joe, you must be in good shape because I got a belly when I hit my 30s. Okay. Like if you hadn't really been taking care of yourself, like before you hit 25, everything that you did to yourself before you hit 25 is going to start manifesting itself just a little bit in your 30s. So in my 30s, I started getting the belly. That's the first sign. You know what? This is going to segue me into talking to y'all about health. Okay. This is a great segue. Because see, I've been telling everybody, I've been trying to tell y'all, and this is not a conspiracy theory. I believe, I'm not saying it is fact, but I believe it's fact. The government is killing us through our food supply. I really believe they're trying to kill us purposely because they don't want people to live to the age where they can get Social Security. I really believe this deep in my bones because I remember, back in the day, my grandmama and my grandfather, they would drink, they would smoke, but they still lived to be 80, 90 years old, So it's still back then, during their time, a lot of drinking and smoking. Now, people in my generation, Generation X, they dying off in their 50s. They ain't even making it to retirement age, y'all. Like, how can this be? We eating the same food I thought that, my grandmother and grandfather ate. Then I started paying attention. I started paying attention to the food. Our food is heavily processed. Everything that we buy in the store has stuff in it that kills us. And not only that, but they tell you that you're not supposed to eat fruit that don't have seeds. Your fruit is supposed to have seeds in it, people. Y'all tell me the last time you bought some grapes that had seeds in it. I'll wait. Y'all tell me the last time you peeled an orange and there was some seeds in that orange. Or better yet, when's the last time you bought a watermelon that had seeds in it? And I'm telling you, they even got the lemons. Because I like to put lemon in my water. I haven't bought a lemon with seeds in it in years. All of these foods are hybrid. All of the fruits and vegetables that we're eating are hybrid. That means that these fruits and vegetables cannot create other fruits and vegetables. They're hybrid. And you know what I noticed they started doing at the grocery store too? They're selling seeds. So now you can't buy the fruit with the seeds in it. But if you want seeds, if you want to, grow your own fruit, you have to buy seeds from the store to grow the fruit. So they're taking the fruit, they're taking the seeds out of the fruit. And then they're recreating the same hybrid fruit over and over again. And then they're selling it to us. We are not able to get any seeds from these fruit to make fruit of our own, by the way. If we want to, we have to then go and buy the seeds. We can't get 2 for 1 anymore. Because usually what used to be when you would buy fruit from the store, there's no seeds in a banana. When I used to cut open a banana, the little tiny black indentations in the middle of the banana was the seeds. There's no seeds in the banana. It's all like that creamy white color on the inside. Nothing has seeds in it anymore. Joe W says, stay away from GMO seeds and foods. Exactly. And see, I know this might be a little boring to some of you because I'm talking about stuff like getting insurance, taking care of your health. But these are things that your mama and your papa probably ain't never sat down and had the conversation with you. They probably ain't never sat down and said, hey, this shit is important. As a matter of fact, in the Black community, we don't talk about health. We don't talk about fitness. Everybody else is light years ahead of us when it comes to health and fitness. Why do you think you see these old white people out walking? When I used to do my delivery routes, I used to go into these rich middle class white neighborhoods and I would see old white people, even with their little walkers and canes, over there by the little old folks home facilities. Them white people would be getting their ass up early in the morning and on their walkers and their canes, and they're still getting exercise. And I used to, and we never asked ourselves, why are these white people and other people out here exercising like hell? Because they already got the 411. Look, y'all, the first sign that you're dying is that you get a gut. That's the first sign. Soon as you get that gut, that visceral fat in your gut is emitting toxics. It's emitting these toxins to the rest of your body daily, hourly. Every minute you have visceral fat in a gut. Toxins are going into your body, and these toxins that are emitted daily, they're causing stuff like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, liver, kidney malfunction, along with a host of other illnesses daily. Death starts in your stomach. That is nature's way of telling you, hey, we trying to kill you. You about to die. You about to get you about to either get heart disease, high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, but we're emitting these toxins into your body through the visceral fat in your gut daily to kill you. And you helped us, you helped us out by getting this gut when you bought all that bad food. At the grocery store, you made bad choices. At the fast food restaurant, you made bad choices. And so now you're going to pay. We're slowly killing you until you will not make it to retirement age. Exactly, though, Joe W. We too busy want to talk about the fuckery, but we don't want to talk about no real shit. And it is predominantly us that's affected by this. because we not having these conversations. Aflac, Monique, I actually have Aflac. Aflac is actually good. Now, Aflac is one of those insurances that will pay you out the next day. I mean, their payout plan is fast. So if you got accident insurance through Aflac or hospital insurance or cancer insurance, they pay that shit the next day, and they cut you the check. So if you already have medical insurance, that extra $10,000 check that Aflac cut go directly to you, and there you go. That's your money for being off work. You can pay your bills. Oh, I love me some Aflac. Yes, I'm a Nika Mama Max, but Aflac is expensive. I'm just gonna let y'all know it. They expensive, but they damn good. But back to what I was saying. If you want to live longer, take care of your liver and your kidneys. The liver and the kidneys regulate all this shit in your body. If you have a fatty liver, if you have kidneys that are malfunctioning, your body is not going to be able to create bile, and bile is what breaks down your food. Bile is actually an indicator that you have a healthy and fast metabolism. So if you have an unhealthy gut, you're not going to be creating bile. You're not going to be breaking down your food fast. And guess what? Your food is going to turn into glucose and fructose, which is going to create more insulin and cortisol in your system. And that is what builds up insulin resistance. So if any of you ever wonder, how come it seems like you diet, you exercise, you getting it in, but you can never lose weight? It's because your body has built up this thing called insulin resistance, because you have a fatty liver and you have kidneys that are overworked. You have to eat foods that are going to take care of your liver and your kidney in order to lose fat. Bile helps you lose fat. So doing this will reduce the zero fat in your gut, not liposuction, not tummy tucks, not any type of cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery only fixes the exterior, but it will not heal what's happening to you on the inside. So get it out your head that just because you don't see it, that it's not happening. Okay, now you done sucked the fat out of you, you done stapled your tummy, your liver is still dying. How about that? Like I said, getting the gut isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that is nature's way of telling you that you have a problem with your liver and your kidneys and they need attention. If you go and just simply staple your stomach and suck out the fat, it's not going to save you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Stapling your stomach, sucking out the fat, not going to save you. Oh, good morning, Auntie, with the $5 super chat. He says, good morning, the Faith Factor and the chat. I love the new avatar. Thank you. Thank you. That is supposed to be my fantasy cartoon caricature of myself. And Joe W says, I'm a vet too, and I go to the VA, and Aflac covers me too. I'm Anika Mamanet. Yeah, Aflac is wonderful. I love Aflac. But back to this here information that I'm giving you guys, okay? I need you to understand what you should be eating. Now, people sit up here and they talk about going vegan. Going vegan is not necessarily healthy. I just want you guys to know that. People think that just because they cut out meat, that they're going to be healthy. There have been studies that have shown that people who have tried to go vegan, they end up in the hospital because they're not getting enough protein and healthy fats. And you can only get healthy fats and proteins, the best source. I'm going to say it, not the only source, but the best source of healthy fats and proteins come from meat. It comes from meat, people. So, with that said, there are new studies that show that if you eat meats that are marked as grass-fed and grass-finished, meaning that the animal had a plant-based diet, then this will give you the healthy protein and the healthy fat that you need to sustain yourself. Your body needs protein. You can get that. The best source of protein is meat. Now, grain-fed animals, animals that are fed unhealthy grains, that meat is toxic. Okay, I don't buy anything at the store that says USDA. That meat sucks. Those animals are grain-fed and they're toxic. And those are the meats that can cause cancer. Absolutely, Amanique. I taught my daughter that. I started off the live saying that I told her to get full coverage insurance when she got her car. And like I said, young people, they don't listen to you all the time. They think they're invincible. They think nothing will happen to them. They don't heed the warning. They have to get their hand burnt on the stove, some of them, before they realize that the stove is hot. And unfortunately, this is a lesson that she's learning right now, unfortunately. But I think she got it now. I don't think she's going to be running out there and getting cars and not getting the full coverage insurance after this. And it's unfortunate that this had to happen, but I think she gets it now. No, she got that vehicle in Illinois. She got that vehicle in Illinois. Now, I don't know about the states and how they make it mandatory, but I know in Arizona, when I got my vehicle, I had to have full coverage when I got my vehicle. I had to. Exactly, Amanique. Even if your car is paid, you still need full coverage insurance because, like I said, it's not just about getting your car fixed or being able to replace the car. It's the time that you have to take off work. It's medical bills. It's all of these expenses on top of the car being totaled that you have to worry about. And full coverage insurance will ensure that you have peace of mind because they're going to pay you for your time off work. They're going to pay you for your medical bills and even your pain and suffering. They're going to pay. So I would tell anybody, make sure you get full coverage insurance. So important. But back to this health lesson here, because we done segue into the health lesson. I want you guys to eat meats that are marked as grass-fed and grass-finished. Throw away white sugar. Throw it out. I don't care. I said this in my last video. I don't care that sugar costs all this money now. I don't care that you like sugar. Sugar is the number one killer. It's the number one thing that causes insulin resistance and high cortisol levels. It's the number one thing that gives you that visceral belly fat that emits toxins into your body daily. Sugar. Sugar is even more dangerous than alcohol. Throw it away. Use monk fruit sweetener instead. It tastes just like sugar, but it's better for you. Monk fruit sweetener is a little bit expensive, but you shouldn't be using that much sweetener anyway. Don't just cut back on sugar, eliminate it. It will kill you. Stop eating bread. Stop using flour. Bread and flour stops you from losing fat. It's a fat inhibitor. It blocks you from losing fat. So if you just got to have something that, is floury or breaded, then use coconut and almond flour instead. Those are healthier choices. So I'm trying to give you alternatives here. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing something without giving you an alternative, because I know some of you got to have this stuff. So if you got to have a floury substance, you got to fry your chicken or whatever, use coconut flour. Coconut flour is good for frying chicken. Almond flour, I think that's good for frying fish. Okay, even though you really shouldn't fry, but if you gotta, you can use as much coconut and almond flour as you want, and it won't have any adverse effect on you. Exactly, Joe. Get rid of anything white from your diet. White is bad. It's bad. Anything white, bad. When you think white, think bad. I know that we've been trained to think black is bad, but actually black is good. It's white that's bad. Stop using vegetable and canola oil. Okay, use avocado. Avocado oil is actually a very good fat. Avocados contain healthy trans fats. Okay, and we do need some forms of fat. So avocado oil is healthy for you. Olive oil is a good alternative to vegetable and canola. Vegetable and canola oil will kill you. Peanut oil will kill you. Use avocado, use olive oil, use coconut oil. Those are healthy oils. And I hope I don't have to say this, but drink more water. Stop drinking alcohol. Stop drinking carbonated sodas. Stop drinking sugary sports and energy drinks. Even the sugary sports and energy drinks are bad for you. I know that people think that drinking that Gatorade gives them an extra electrolyte boost after a workout. It's sugar. So that's the reason why you feel that extra electrolyte boost, and it's unhealthy. Instead, if you want a electrolyte boost, go into the baby owl and get some Pedialyte. That will give you a healthy electrolyte boost without the super exorbitant amount of sugar that's in the energy drink. So, I would typically have a bottle of Pedialyte next to me after a workout. And if I want an electrolyte boost, I'll take a hit off of that. And a natural way of boosting your electrolytes is if you take some Mediterranean or Himalayan sea salt. That the electrolytes in sea salt is actually better than anything. And coconut water is also a good electrolyte booster. So those are three things. You can do sea salt and water to get your electrolyte boost after a workout. You can do Pedialyte. You can do coconut water. But stay away from the energy sports drinks. They advertise them as if they're healthy, but they're not healthy. Not by a long shot. Joe, honey, Joe says get honey from a local beekeeper. A lot of honey sold in the supermarkets is fake. You're right about the supermarket honey, but honey in general has a lot of fructose. So you want to be careful with that. The only upside to using honey instead of sugar, and I'm with you. Use honey. I would prefer honey instead of sugar, but the best sugar alternative is the monk fruit. You can use as much monk fruit sugar as you want, and it won't have an adverse effect on you. But honey will have the same adverse effect as sugar if you use too much of it. But the good news is that honey is so sweet that you don't really have to use as much of it as you do sugar. So, that is a good alternative, but you have to use it in very low amounts. Let's see here. Yeah, so drink more water, drink green tea. Green tea lowers your blood pressure. So that's a really good thing to be drinking. And black coffee is good for you too. In moderation, because you don't want to drink too much coffee. 1 cup of black coffee in the morning, that's enough. And try to add lemon and cinnamon and apple cider vinegar to your water from time to time. Cinnamon is very good. Cinnamon and apple cider vinegar actually helps culture appetite, and the cinnamon actually is a fat burning, so it's really good for your gut. Eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and make sure you eat them raw. Raw lettuce, raw broccoli, raw carrots. Eat your fruits and vegetables raw. Don't cook them all the time. You know, steaming your vegetables is better than boiling them. And when you cook your vegetables, like I said, don't cook them until they get soggy, because when you do this, what you're doing is you're killing all the nutrients inside the vegetable. And so even though you're eating vegetables, if you eat that soggy vegetables or soggy greens, it doesn't have no semblance of crunch to it. You're not really getting the vitamins and nutrients from the vegetables. You might get it from the broth, but it's very little because you done cooked it all out. Exactly. Preservatives in the foods. Exactly. Oh, stevia. Yes, Joe, stevia is another good sugar alternative. Actually, I use stevia too. I have monk fruit sugar, stevia, and xylitol. Even though you have to be careful with the xylitol, but it doesn't have as much glucose in it as regular sugar. Monique says she only eats organic fruits. Yes. And make sure that when you do buy organic, go to the farmers markets. Those are usually good places to buy your fruits and your vegetables. Try to get fruits that have seeds in it, y'all. So let's see what else we got. Do at least 30 minutes. I'm going to say 30 minutes at minimum. I like to do an hour. I'm up to an hour now of daily cardio. Cardio helps burn fat. There's nothing that burns fat better than a nice brisk walk or running or intermittent running and walking. You do this 30 minutes to an hour a day, that right there is going to extend your longevity along with you changing your diet. And try to get in at least 10 to 15 minutes of daily stretching. So these are exercises that you should be doing every day: cardio and stretching. Two of the most important things that you can do on, and you can do this on a daily basis. You can do as much cardio as you want, as much stretching as you want on a daily basis. Now, strength training is something totally different. This is something you really shouldn't do on a daily basis. And as a matter of fact, you really shouldn't be doing it too much. Your body actually your muscles actually grow when they're at rest after doing strength training. So you should only be strength training maybe once or twice a week. You don't have to do daily strength training. Now, cardio and stretching, that should be a daily thing. But strength training, that should be once a week, twice a week. Because in between those days, after you've done your strength training, your body is regenerating. You're gonna see the most growth when you just kind of, get that strength training in that one day, and then you let those muscles kind of regenerate themselves. But if you keep going back and hitting the same muscle back to back to back, you can end up tearing the muscle and doing more damage, and you won't see any growth. Also, taking vitamin supplements. This is going to help you out tremendously because we don't get enough vitamin supplements from the foods anymore. Like I said, even if you have a supermarket in your town, you're basically in a food desert because the stuff that they are giving us in the supermarket isn't really food anymore. And because it's not really food anymore, we're not really getting enough vitamins and nutrients from the food. So you're going to have to become real familiar with your vitamin aisle. Like I said, if you've ever gone into CVS Pharmacy or Walmart or Vitamin World or GNC, you'll see all these old white folks in the vitamin aisle, all these non-black people in the vitamin aisle. They got their ass in that vitamin aisle like bees to honey. And I used to ask myself, why are they all in this damn vitamin aisle? What is going on? It's like a goddamn party, a Caucasian party in the goddamn vitamin aisle. And that's because there's something in these vitamin aisles that they know about that we don't know about. So I started doing my studying and started, talking to nutritionists and, different people that dibble and dabble in natural medicines. And come to find out, we're not getting enough vitamins and nutrients from the food. So we got to supplement. You got to. We're not getting enough magnesium. There's not enough in the water. We're not getting nothing. So you want to supplement your magnesium. You want to increase your vitamin D intake. Vitamin D helps fight against inflammation. Potassium, K2. K2 is good for your joints. And K2 also helps, clean out your arteries. K2 keeps the arteries from clogging. B1, I cannot tell you enough. B1, I love me some B1. B1 has so many benefits, but the biggest benefits of B1 is that it boosts your mood. So if you're taking B1, it's gonna definitely help boost your mood. It's gonna alleviate that stress. So if you're dealing with stress, because stress also, boosts cortisol and insulin levels, and you'll end up with a gut because you're stressed out, because you're not going to be able to process foods because your hormones are out of whack due to stress. B1 helps cut that down some. Turmeric, they found that turmeric is actually a cancer killer. Vitamin A. Human growth hormone. I'm on the fence about it, but if you take human growth hormone, especially early in the morning before you eat anything, it does help boost your metabolism and it does give you energy. I've taken human growth hormone intermittently, off and on. I just do it as needed, but it does boost your energy and it gets you like really prepared for that workout. And human growth hormone also boosts your metabolism and it helps you burn fat. Now, exercise will do that in and of itself, but if you supplement with the human growth hormone, it's going to spike your metabolism much, much faster, and you're going to burn more weight, more fat. I'm sorry, more fat much, much faster. So, human growth hormone is another good supplement. AP from the Bronx, where you been? She says, I started taking vitamins again and I feel great. Yeah, vitamins, like I said, if you feel sluggish, if you start to get brain fog, it's probably because you're not getting enough vitamins and nutrients. And it's probably because you have a really bad diet. So once you start supplementing and you start changing your diet, you're going to find that things such as brain fog, you know how some people you get to talking and you can't think of the right word. You know what words you want to use, but you can't think of the exact word. That is an example of brain fog. So I noticed that when I started exercising, when I started changing my diet, and I started actually supplementing, I have less brain fog. So there's something to, these white folks getting up every day, jogging, and they got they're partying over in the vitamin L. They're like bees to honey over there in that vitamin L. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here in this vitamin L? What are y'all over here doing? They're over there buying up all the goddamn vitamins. That's what they're doing because they know that we're not getting enough of it in food. And see, they have a head start on everything. They get a head start on everything. They knew before us that the restaurants and the grocery stores are actually food deserts. Even though it looks like we're eating food and it feels like we're eating food, we're not eating food because food actually supposed to have vitamins and nutrients, and we're not getting it in the supermarkets and restaurants in most of the cities and towns that we live in. Even big cities like Chicago, New York. You think you're buying food, but once again, food is supposed to nourish the body. It's not just about eating and feeling good. You're supposed to be getting something from that food that you're putting in your mouth, and a lot of us were not getting anything. So that's the reason why we're getting the gut, we're dying slowly, and we're not living to retirement age anymore. Joe W says two more that would help you with your health is a proper good night's sleep. Oh, yes. You know what? I forgot all about that, Joe. Yes. Getting a good night's sleep does help. He says, and avoid stress. Anything that messes with your peace of mind will not benefit you. Yes, people, log off YouTube. Log off social media, okay? Social media is an unnecessary stressor for a lot of us. Okay, so make sure that anything that unnecessarily messes with your peace of mind, if you can eliminate it, if you could just step away from it for just a minute, do it. It's not worth it because you don't need that extra spike in stress that's going to spike your cortisol and insulin levels. And then you're in the gym sweating, wondering how come you can't lose no weight because your hormones are fucking with you. And I'm gonna tell you something. Once your hormones start messing with you, there's not anything that you can do as far as dieting and exercising to fix a hormone issue. Hormone issues are going to have to be discussed with a dietitian, a nutritionist, a medical professional. Once your hormones are imbalanced, you have to get that under control. And yes, eating the right foods will help. Um, Exercising may help a little bit. Exercising, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. The diet is like 80% of it. And this is the other thing a lot of people don't know. Like people come up with these excuses as to why they're not losing weight. They say, "Oh, I'm not losing weight because I can't get in the gym, I can't work out, and that's it. So I'm just gonna be fat." You know what? You just a lazy motherfucker. Okay, it's not about working out. It's not. You could actually just change your diet. Now, your diet is going to make you healthier on the inside, and it's going to cause you to slowly lose weight. However, with you not exercising, your body just isn't going to be conditioned. Exercise conditions your body. That's all it does. It tones you up, it makes you stronger. But what makes you healthy is the food that you put in your body. If you eat unhealthy food, you're going to be unhealthy. And if you eat foods that make you unhealthy, you're going to gain weight. So imagine if you're exercising and you just continue to eat like how you're eating. You'll be strong and unhealthy. You see how that works? So exercise just conditions your body and makes you stronger. It doesn't make you healthier. It's the diet, it's the food that you put in your body that gives you longevity and health. That's the reason why they say your diet is 80% of your health and weight loss. So for all of you talking about, I can't lose weight because I don't have time to exercise, it's not the exercise. If you just change your diet, you will lose weight. And work on your hormone issues if it's a hormone issue. Remember, it's all about what's going on the inside. You know what, Joe? I heard that CBD oil can help with chronic pain. I heard that that could help. I really, really could see. I got this pain in the top of my neck and the crook of my neck, and it kind of trickles down to my shoulders. I have been trying to get my doctor to put me on some medicinal weed. I've been trying to get that medicinal weed for some years now. It hasn't been working. I don't think my doctor believes me. Oh, thank you, lady. Oh, Lady Love with the $20. She said, "Good stream, very informative and educational. Have a great day, Faith." Thank you, Lady Love, and you have a great day as well. And people, please subscribe to Lady Love. She also has a very entertaining, very informative channel as well here on YouTube. Please support our content creators. Lady Love, people. Thank you. AP from the Bronx says chromium helps with brain fog and helps with sugar and helps promote lean muscles. Chromium. You know what, AP? I'm gonna have to check that out. I heard something about this chromium that you speak of too. Chromium. You know what? I'm gonna try that out. I'm definitely gonna be at the vitamin now looking for some chromium now. Because I've heard some good things about that. You're absolutely right. I've heard doctors do studies on chromium. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm an hour and 16 minutes in. You know, I try not to be on here that long. I just wanted to have this chat with you guys. I told you that I am going to talk to you like you were my my children. I told you I was going to talk to you like I was your best friend, like I was your sister, your cousin, you know, just that person that you need in your life. Because we're not having these conversations. We like to talk about the fuckery. We want to talk about who's having sex with who in the YouTube streets. We're interested in who's beefing with who. We're interested in all this other stuff. But when someone comes on and talks about something real that can help you in real life, look how low the numbers are. Look how low the numbers are. Because nobody wants to hear that. If you're a Black woman and you start talking about diet and exercise, hold on. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm not done yet because I got to get this off. If you're a woman and you start talking about diet and exercise, especially if you're a Black woman, you'll have 50 million motherfuckers running up on you talking about you just jealous. Oh, Faith, you just jealous of big booty Brenda over there with the 12 bellies. You just wish that you had all that lusciousness like her. Oh, why would I wish to have more killer belly fat? See, only thing y'all looking at is the hips and the booty. I'm looking at all that belly fat. And usually when you have all them hips and all them booties, usually you got belly fat. Like that comes with the hips and the booties. It's kind of like fries. Fries come with the shake at McDonald's. Yeah, the belly comes with the hips and the booty. So I get so sick and tired of, as women, we can't talk about health and fitness to each other without somebody getting upset. So I hope that I was able to talk about health and fitness, getting things like insurance without offending anyone today. Because it is not my ministry to try to step on anybody's toes, but my ministry is to try to help you avoid something. Oh, good morning, Woman's Fear. Thank you, Joe W. with the $10 super chat. He says, great live, Faith. Keep dropping the truth. I will. Thank you. Thank you. Blue, she said 12 bellies equal lusciousness. Girl, let me tell you, I don't have any problem with body positivity. My thing is this: if you are 300 pounds today, love yourself today, but know that you're not healthy right now. See, knowing that you have to fix something, that there's a problem that you need fixing, does not automatically equal self-hate. And I want Black people to reprogram their thinking. So when someone says this isn't a healthy shape, they're not saying hate yourself. They're saying that we need to do something to get ourselves healthy. Oh, if you 300 pounds today, oh, honey child, I still want you to go to that mall and get yourself the sexiest dress that you can find in your 300-pound body that you have today, knowing that you are going to get down to a healthier size so that you can live. But there's nothing wrong with you loving yourself right now. And yes, I also understand that there are people that are skinny fat. I understand that there are slim people that have health problems. But if you look at the numbers, the main people having these health problems are people that have excess amount of weight, especially around the belly. And yes, you could be skinny with a belly. Like I said earlier today, getting the belly isn't necessarily a bad thing. Getting a gut is nature's way of telling you that you are having a problem with your kidney and your liver, and that you need to pay close attention to those things. It's time for you to start getting that together. That's all that belly is. That belly is giving, that belly is a warning sign. When you first start to see that little pudge, that's a warning sign. That's your body telling you something is wrong. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. See, other groups of people, they've been knowing what the warning signs are. That's the reason why when they see one little inch come up in their belly, they're in the gym cardioing their ass off. They're buying plant-based food for their diet. They're changing the type of meat that they're eating because they know that that belly is an indicator that they have a fatty liver or they have overworked kidneys. Good morning, Cassandra Brown. Oh, no problem, Cassandra. I had I looked back at some of my old live streams, so I may not wrench people up during the live stream because I have StreamYard up on my phone. But if I go back through an old live stream and I see some people that are not in the blue, then I'll try to make sure that I put you in the blue. And I don't know if Lady Love has a wrench or not, but I'm gonna go back and look to see. And if Lady Love doesn't have a wrench, you will most definitely be wrenched up in the next stream. Monique says organics, fruits, and vegetables only. Yes, but meat is important too. The best source of protein comes from meat, people, but you just have to make sure that you are eating healthy meat. So like I said earlier, grass-fed, grass-finished meat. If it doesn't say grass-fed and grass-finished on the package, it is not a healthy meat. Best to buy your meat from farmers markets. And it was something else. Oh, the breakdown had a really good stream the other day, and I wanted to talk about this interesting woman that they had on their stream. Her name was Princella, I believe. And shout out to Sister George and Concrete Rose for always bringing that fire content because it was beautiful. I'm telling you that live stream, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, catch it on the replay. Princella is always interesting, always very interesting. I'm subscribed to Princella, and a lot of the stuff that she talks about, you know, I'm in agreement with. She's more along the lines with Cynthia G as far as selective breeding is concerned. And I have my thoughts on selective breeding because I don't think that we as humans can really say who should be here and who shouldn't be here. That's just my personal. I don't tell nobody what to do with their lives, but that's just my personal belief. So I don't subscribe to people saying that one sex of people shouldn't be here because we're mad at them because you know they are baby daddies and they left us high and dry. That was a grown ass naker or neeker or whatever you want to call them. That was a grown ass person, male, that did that. But babies are innocent. I would maintain that. A baby boy has no concept of red pill. A baby boy has no concept of pumping and dumping. All of this stuff is learned behavior. And I believe that it could be totally reversed if the child is raised in the proper environment. So all this talk about selective breeding and not bringing male babies into the Black community, this is supposed to be a solution. I don't subscribe to that. So, Princella's more along those lines with Cynthia G. And that's one of the talking points that she has that I just don't agree with. I never will. Things that are learned behaviors, you cannot take that stuff out on children. And that's the other thing. I'm seeing the older generation messing up the younger generation with their hangups. Generation X messing up Generation Z and Y with our hangups. I believe it was Woman Sphere that said it on her channel when she was saying that a lot of these older men teaching this red pill stuff to the younger men. And a lot of these younger men didn't have the same experiences of the men of the baby boomer and Generation X age. They're not having those same experiences with their women. It's totally different day and age, and they have totally different set of experiences. But the older generations projecting their garbage onto the younger generation. And same thing with women. The younger generation of women are not having as many children as the older generation of women. So as older women, we got to stop projecting our hurt and our pain down to our daughters. Oh yeah, Mama Nika, Mama Max says nutritional yeast is good to add to food shakes and B12s. Yes, I add. I'm gonna tell you something. I sprinkle a little nutritional yeast on my salad. Now I know, some people be like, ugh, nutritional yeast on salad, but you'll be surprised. It is surprisingly tasty. I put it on my salad, I slather me some dressing on top of it, and it's delicious. So yes, I'm there with you with the nutritional yeast. And I put a little bit in my chili too, because it has somewhat of a light cheesy taste. But back to what I was saying about this passing down of our hangups on the next generation. We got to stop doing that. These young people have no experience whatsoever with things like baby daddy drama or baby mama drama, but they're talking as if they do. I had a 22-year-old, I heard her on I forget which divestors platform I was listening in on. I'd be in the clouds listening in a lot of times. And this girl was like 22 years old talking about she tired of being single. 22. Let me see. Just 4 years ago, you were just graduating out of high school going on prom. How the hell you tired of being single already at 22? I'm going to tell you how. She heard her mama say this shit. Your old ass mama that's going into her 50s, that been single all her life, is saying this. Your life just got started. How in the hell is you tired of being single when you ain't even been single that long? And it's crazy to me. It's funny when I hear young people saying this, what they tired of, and they just getting started. You're just getting started and you already tired? That's like when I went in the gym and I was on the treadmill, and I had been on the treadmill for about a good 20 minutes. And this young woman got on the treadmill next to me, and she had to be at least 18, 19. And she got on the treadmill. Now, I have to walk when I first get on the treadmill. I can't just bust out into a run. But a younger person getting on the treadmill next to me can bust out into a run and be running for 20 minutes or more. I can do an intermittent run, maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. So I say that to say, when you're young, what the hell are you tired of? Youth gives you an advantage because you ain't been run through the ringer like these old people. You ain't been run through the ringer like that to be tired of anything. And you old people, stop projecting your shit on these young people. Now, it's good to give cautionary tales, but don't traumatize these young people. Y'all stop doing that. What happened to you happened to you. Don't project that on this young people, this young person. Yes, you're tired of being single at 22. Just getting started and you already tired. Now imagine if that young woman got on the treadmill next to me and I'd already been on there 20-30 minutes, and she started running, and after 5 minutes she gets off the treadmill talking about she tired. And I've been up there 30 minutes already, older than her. That's what that is like. You ain't tired of nothing. The only thing you tired of is probably hearing these old ass people complain about the shit that they done been through for the bad choices that they made. You're just getting started. So try very hard, people, to remember this when you are so-called imparting this wisdom. These young people, they don't have the same struggle you had. It's a totally different day and a totally different time. They're dealing with totally different problems. Joe says, no, Faith. Her mama is probably in her late 30s or early 40s, and grandma is in her late 50s or early 60s. You know what? You might be right about that. You're probably right. So I listened to Priscilla on the breakdown, and some of the stuff that she was saying made sense. But a lot of it that she was saying didn't make any sense. And I was in their audience, and I hadn't heard the whole stream, so I'm going to be fair because I came in towards the end. But I was in there and I was talking to a young lady in the audience, and I was telling her, I was like, yeah, as far as her talking point on selective breeding, I don't think that that's a good idea. And so this girl was telling me, well, she's basing it on the premise of what happened in China when they killed all the girls, and then it was too many men. So she's saying that now there's too many men. And I'm thinking to myself, and I told the young lady, I don't know if it was a young lady or how old the woman was, but she sounded like a young lady. I told her, I said, that doesn't make any sense. I said, I could agree with Princella if she's saying that this happened all around the world, like this was a pandemic, that all the women ended up getting killed and all the female babies ended up dying all around the world. And so that created a pandemic all around the world where there's too many men. I said, but this happened in just one part of the world, China. And that directly affected those men and the women that they had to choose from in their marriage and dating pool in that one area of the world. It was not a pandemic. And see, this is why I'm going to need, ladies, I'm going to need you all to stop being moved by every wind and doctrine. Because somebody can speak powerfully, and Priscilla has a powerful voice. It's just because someone speaks what you think eloquently and they're very charismatic doesn't mean that they're right. And some of you will latch on to an agenda. Some of you will latch on to a message so long as it absolves you of any accountability. And so long as it makes you feel as if you're the queen high up on the throne. And you got to come out of that mindset. It is a very infantile mindset. Because one important element of adulthood is the fact that you can hold yourself accountable and that you have discernment. And I don't see a lot of you having discernment at all. So when I listen to Princella, you know, there's some things that she says that I go, yeah. Just like when she was talking about the sexual part of women. She's the only person that I heard say this out loud. I think I said it one time, long time ago. I don't really like to talk about sex a lot over here. It's kind of early for that, but Princella says something that I never thought I would hear another woman admit. But she talked about the nerve endings in the vagina. Like a lot of men think that, you know, the women getting all this damn pleasure from being plowed in that hole. The vagina has very few nerve endings, and that, you know, is something that she said that I do agree with. Now, there is that spot in the back of the vagina that if man can hit it just right, he done found the sweet spot. But he don't hit it all the time. You see what I'm saying? He don't know how to hit it all the time. There's a certain way he got to hit it. But the number one place where women always find their pleasure during sex is in the clitoral region. And she never lied about that. She never lied about that. Good morning, Q Savage. So men, you know, you guys have your egos and you're thinking that, oh, you're hitting that hole and she's really loving it. We're making that noise because we feel friction there. I'm going to tell you what it feels like to us. You take your hand and you ball it into a fist, a real tight fist. I don't care how tight you make it. You stick your finger in that hole, and that's what we feel. Friction. That's it. That's all we feel. We just know that you're in there. And depending on how we feel about you is how that friction is going to affect us. But it's not necessarily orgasmic. Okay? So you plow your finger in that little hole that you make with your fist. And that's what we're feeling. No, Q Savage, 9 out of 10 women are going to lie. Just like the whole squirting thing. Women will sit up here and lie to you and swear up and down that you made them feel so good when you plowed their hole that they came, they squirted all over you, even though there's millions of articles, so much scientific evidence that says otherwise. Now the truth comes out. Now scientists are telling you what that squirting actually is. You're getting peed on. Yes, she peed on you, but it's not to our benefit to, to break your male ego and tell you that we peed on you. And some of us got incontinence issues, and some of us don't. I'll break down what that squirting stuff is in a minute. But you just got peed on, okay? That's it in a nutshell. And there's scientific evidence to back this up. That fluid is pee. But there are women that will sit up here and swear them down because they don't know their asshole from a hole in the ground either. They're not even really familiar with their own anatomy. They don't even know when their bladder is full. That's the reason why you should pee before and after sex. Because if you have sex on a full bladder, let me try to find the best way to explain this to you. Now, usually when a woman squirts, it's because the man has applied pressure to that area of her bladder. And if it's full, and especially if you're a really big man, you kind of hung, and you kind of lean in and apply that pressure from a certain position. Well, pressure on that full bladder is going to cause that woman to squirt a little bit. Okay? Kind of like when you take, that little syringe that you clean your ears out with, that little round syringe, you squeeze the water in the syringe. If the syringe is full, it doesn't take much pressure when you squeeze it for water to squirt out. Similarly, when you're having sex with a woman and her bladder is full, if you get her in a certain position and you lean in and you apply pressure, that water is going to squirt out. Also, if the syringe isn't very full of water, even with it not being as full, like say for instance, you might have peed a little bit before you had sex, but you're constantly making urine. So if the man applies enough pressure to even an unfull bladder, you may squirt a little bit. And it happened to me one time, just one time. It was embarrassing. He was on top of me, and I hadn't, peed. And so, I was so excited, I didn't want to go to the restroom. I just wanted to get it on. And so he got me in this particular position, and he applied pressure, and I felt myself pee a little bit. It just came, squirting out. And boy, he got excited. He stopped what he was doing just to get down and look. And I was so embarrassed because I knew I peed. And he was so happy, I didn't have the heart to tell him that I peed on him. So I just let him think I squirted. Hey, it worked out for both of us. His ego was boosted, and I was not embarrassed. Well, anyway, a little bit too much information. But the point is, it's not female ejaculation, okay? It's not. And a lot of men are going to be in denial because y'all want to think that y'all are bedroom warriors. And I'm not the type of person that's going to tell anybody what to do or what to think. If that's what you want to think, then rock on, bedroom warrior. Keep getting pissed on. There you go. But the truth is, that's what it is. It's P. So Princella, when she was breaking down, the female anatomy and what arouses us, what really makes us come, the clitoral region is the key, fellas. If you really, really want to make sure that the woman has orgasmic experience, then you're going to get familiar with that area, because the clitoris is nothing more than the female version of the penis. So the same way you like your penis stimulated is the same way we like our clitoris stimulated. In the story. So I'm done. Stick a fork in. So those are some of the things that she was saying that I didn't agree with. And then one other point that she made that I didn't really agree with. She was talking about there being this matriarchy, and that the oldest form of rulership was these matriarchies. I think she said in Africa or whatever. And we were these queens, and we were running things, and we need to get back to when we were running things and all of that. And these are just my thoughts. Okay. I don't have anything against Princella. Like I said, I am subscribed to her. There are many things she says I do agree with. But on that particular note, what she was talking about, there really isn't too much viable evidence that these particular type of rulerships actually existed. Okay, so matriarchies, they're kind of mythical at this point. Now I know that in Africa, they had tribes that were ruled by women, but what they don't tell you about that particular point of history, and what people that have agendas leave out, is that a lot of those societies were not matriarchal. They were matrilineal. Matrilineal societies are societies that are led in part by women and also in part by men. So you had a duality of leadership. Kind of like in that movie Woman King. You saw that the man, the king, he had advisors. He listened to his priest, his wife, all these people were advising him. Even the woman king herself advised him. And so towards the end of the movie, he had to do a ceremony where he had to pick a queen, somebody to rule alongside him. And the reason that is because they were in a matrilineal society where both man and woman ruled. There were no true matriarchies. So in the matrilineal societies, you had women that ruled on one end, and they made decisions in certain specialties and areas that they had specialty in, and the men ruled in their area, but the men were the ones that made majority of the decisions. Those are matrilineal societies. Because I was down there in the chat room at the breakdown, and I had questions, if we had these so-called matriarchies and we were in rulership, how is it that we lost our grip on these matriarchies if they were so great? How come there isn't any matriarchies anymore? How come you might be able to count maybe on one hand something that resembles a matriarchy? Everything else is either matrilineal or patriarchal. And that is a question that will not get answered truthfully because there's an agenda. But truth be told, see, with Black women, we like fairy tales, right? We like to be princesses. We want to fantasize about the prince swooping down on the black horse and saving us. Or we want to be these goddesses. We want to be on top of the throne and everybody worshiping us. You know, we live in the world of fairy tale. So I'm going to tell you a fairy tale now. How about that? So once upon a time, long time ago, maybe 10,000, 20,000 years ago, when humans were stupid and we didn't know our assholes from a hole in the ground, we didn't know anything about paternity. We didn't know how babies were made even. We were just kind of inching up on each other and humping. And we believed that women had babies and bore babies like fruits on were like fruits on trees. There was a time when we actually believed that women bore children like the fruits bore fruit on trees. It was a magical thing because we didn't have science 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago. So we didn't know about the semen and the egg and all that type of stuff. And so many years ago in Africa, where we worshiped rain gods and we worshiped tree gods and earth gods and all this other stuff, because everything was so magical and mysterious to us. We worshiped the sun because it was mysterious to us. And similarly, because women brought forth life and we didn't know how it happened, women were considered gods at one time because we had this ability to bring forth life. Are you guys following me? I hope you're following me. So at one point in time, because we were stupid, the Black woman was considered God because we could bring forth life and nobody understood how we did it. We had to be magical. We had to be goddesses because we brought forth man. And so we were worshipped like gods. And we were able to rule. And we had influence over man and mankind. And then, see, there was a woke movement that went on 50,000 years ago. The woke movement came with the men because they began to see that women that didn't have sex with men didn't get pregnant. And so people began to put two and two together, especially the men. And they began to say, hey, how come this woman can't have children or bear forth fruit of humankind unless I'm humping up against her? Could it be that this thing that I emit out of my body into her is actually giving her life. So people started putting two and two together eventually. And there were civil wars fought about this. Because men in certain parts of Europe, they began to open their eyes and say, the woman is not God. The woman cannot be God except for I, that give her the seed to bear forth fruit. So therefore, if I am stronger than her and I can give her the seed of life, then she is inferior to me, not the other way around. And I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. I'm just explaining to you the thought process of our caveman and cavewoman minds back then. Because we didn't know shit, okay? We didn't have no science or none of that shit. Like I said, we were getting up every day worshiping the trees and the suns and the earth and the water. Because everything was mythical and magical to us at one point in time, including procreation. So when men find out that the black woman is not God and that she had been reigning over them, and yes, we put our foot on motherfuckers' heads when we were goddesses. So all of this here, utopia of how we ran these great societies. Some of us were very vicious rulers, by the way. And so the men that we trusted to enforce our laws turned on us, didn't they? And so this is why you have in a lot of these third world countries the harsh treatment of women that you have, because it's bullshit that was passed down by the ancestors. The men who had women's foot on their neck back when they were ruling, allegedly. And so this is why they won't let a bitch live, because of things that had been done to them. And because they felt duped and deceived. So if there were any matriarchal societies, they were there momentarily, and not because we wielded any type of strength, but only because people had a belief that we were these gods. And so therefore we had influence. And somewhere along the way, we lost our grip. And that influence became nothing. Because if the people no longer believe, then they're going to revolt and they're going to usurp your power. And so the men created patriarchal societies that benefited them, and the women were treated like second-class citizens. The end. End of story time. So I hope that you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Now you can take this and do with it what you will. You can say Faith's an idiot. You can say Faith is wrong. Faith is stupid. Faith don't know what she's talking about. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. There are a lot of people that write books based on theories. And here's another thing that I want to give as a news flash. I had to put my phone on do not disturb. News flash, people. Just because somebody writes a book doesn't make everything in the book true. If these theories cannot be traced back to anything, and if they're not based on facts, science, things that are tangibly something that you can say, okay, that makes sense, then basically you're believing in fairy tales again. So I want you women, I want to say to you, it's nothing wrong with empowering each other, but don't lie to us. Don't lie to your sisters. Lying and putting your sister up on a false pedestal is going to get you the exact same thing that happened with those women 50,000 years ago, when people believed they were gods because they could just simply carry children and bring forth life. It didn't last long. And you got to learn from your history, right? You should. So be careful. What's happening, Sister George? She said, Faith. You guys did a great job on that live stream yesterday. I just wanted to say, I was just sitting here bragging on you and Concrete Rose. Excellent interview with Princella. Excellent. The original Woman Sphere says, I think women like lies. Girl. Whoo! You gonna get me rolling onto a whole nother subject about how we love them good lies. We do love us a good lie. And so if someone can spin the lie just perfectly enough and pander the hell out of that lie, we will give our everything for that lie. We will donate money for that lie. We will defend the person for that lie. It becomes like Kevin Samuels 2.0, but the female version. You know how Kevin Samuels is spewing his rhetoric all over the place, stinking up the place? And people were actually setting up task force for his good lies. Ooh, protect Kevin Samuels at all costs. It's the same thing with us. Some of us are like that too. Exactly. It keeps the focus off of accountability, and we don't need that. It's not empowering not to be able to self-reflect as a woman and look at things about ourselves that we have to work on. Now, I was very proud of us. What was this, about 10, 12 years ago, when Black women collectively did the work and we self-reflected and we said, you know what? Single motherhood has not been something that helped us. Now, that doesn't mean that motherhood in and of itself is evil, but it's just that the choices that we make is what bastardizes it.
because of why we were doing it. And we had to hold that L, and we had to take accountability. And look, right now today, we have the younger generation learning from those mistakes. And not very many of them are repeating. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start doing more self-reflection. And another thing I want to say before I get off of here, because I get so sick and tired of the hypocrisy too with the men. You all will sit up here and praise hoes, and you will praise hoe-like behavior. You'll praise a woman that says that she's a proud side piece, but you will dog a woman that says she's a single mother. Make that make sense. If a woman comes out here and says, oh, I'm a proud side piece, I am willing to be your number two in your relationship, you don't call that woman a hoe. You don't call that woman a home wrecker. As a matter of fact, you have very little criticism of this woman. I really see other women criticizing women that do this more than I see men doing this. But you men will drag a mother, a woman that's simply a mother, a woman that simply had children without being married. You will drag that woman through the ringer. She's all kinds of hoes, even though she don't participate in hoe-like behavior. She just got pregnant. She just got pregnant. But you I don't want to call nobody out their name, but you men will sit up here and put a hoe on a pedestal so long as she don't get pregnant. The only thing that turns her magically into a hoe is if she gets pregnant and puts you on child support. But other than that, anything that she does, as long as she's showing you her ass, as long as she open to being side piece number two, as long as she's sexually available, fit, feminine, and friendly, as long as she's these things, it don't matter about her whole activity. You all will actually defend these women. But let her get pregnant. Let her talk about putting a man on child support. Then all of a sudden you see the whole like activity. And I've been seeing this and taking note of it. Like I said, people like Kevin Samuels and Jason Black talking about they care about marriages. You cannot care about marriages, but you support side chicks. You understand what a huge oxymoron that is. Oh yeah, we got to have more black marriages, blackity black this, black families, black man in the household, take care of black children. But you got to also make sure that you take care of that side piece. And if you're a woman that want to be a side piece, I don't have nothing against you. It's better to be a side piece to a man that got money than a side piece to a man that got nothing. And this is how they sell you the bullshit. But as soon as the side piece get pregnant, that's when she becomes the scum of the earth. Look out for the trap, y'all. No woman wants to be a permanent side chick. No woman. I don't care who she is. I don't care how hard she try to stand on it. Woman Sphere says, just think, Faith, women value men over their own womanhood
And Lord knows men tell the most beautiful lies, but women rely on being victims to maintain their false femininity. Yes, and it's false. It is false. I'm going to tell you ladies something. You all got to stop being moved by every wind and doctrine. You got to be able to have discernment and think critically. Question everything. I don't care if it's the people that you love the most on here. If you love Cynthia G, and y'all kill me with this Cynthia G worship. Cynthia G can walk in the room right now wearing dirty doo-doo Pampers and drawers, and y'all will say, how can I drop your drawers and kiss your ass? Blind worship. This person can be coming in stinking up the place with their rhetoric, with their agenda, and you all don't have enough discernment to see through it. I'm all for supporting a person, but I don't support anybody when they're wrong. If you're wrong, you're just wrong. And I'm going to say it. Now, if I'm seeing things in a wrong way, or if I am not correct in my discernment and you correct me, I am not above being corrected. But if I think something is wrong, I'm going to question you. And if you get angry with me because I'm questioning something, I'm going to think you full of shit. If you're not able to question your idols, then they're hiding something. Don't ever follow anybody that don't give you explanations that make sense. Not even that they give you explanations. Some of these people will give you an explanation, but it's convoluted and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm here, like I said, I'm going to talk to you like the mama you never had, like the sister you never had, like the best friend you never had. Because some of you need it. You don't need anybody that's going to come to you with an agenda and a talking point, and they're just trying to steal your innocence and your naivety in order to make a profit, in order to have a following. If it don't sound right, question it. And if they won't answer your question, do your own research. But never be afraid. Never be afraid to trust your gut. And don't be moved by every wind and doctrine. I can't stress this enough. Yeah, the no solution based content is winning right now. And it's sad because people will have you sitting up here mad with each other. This gender war is whack. I'm just going to put it to you like this. This gender war is whack. It's been going on, it's going on 15 years now. Has it been 15 years or has it been just a little bit over 12? It's been going on over a decade. I know that much. We still no closer to getting to any solution. Now we got people with stupid, convoluted solutions talking about we don't need each other. This is the solution. I don't need you. And he's like, well, I don't need you either. Wow.
Good job. Good job, people. Now you just created a bigger rift. And these white people and these non-black people that you run into don't give a damn about you. I'm just going to say it. They don't. And it plays out in front of our eyes every single time. My cousin Taurus is so funny. He married this white lady, and they've been knowing each other a long time. He met her in high school, and I know this girl. She come from the gutter, okay, the trashiest of the trashy. And so what they would do, these gutter butters, they would get rejected in their own group of people, but they come over here where they're worshipped. And she's just average Becky over there in her neck of the woods. But over here, we worship whiteness. And so black men will take her, throw a crown on her head, call her their black queen and everything. And that's what my cousin Taurus did. And he had a baby or two with her. The first couple of ones she aborted because she was still holding on to her whiteness. But when it became apparent that my cousin was going to actually be something in life, she decided to let the other two babies come. This is how strategic they are. They don't care about you. It's all strategy. And it's all for their ego boost as well, because she wasn't feeling good over there where she was at. So she comes over here and gets her dose of self-esteem, and it makes them feel good. So they come over here and some of them stay because they know we worship their whiteness. Long story short, my cousin wasn't done being a hoe. So he went here, there, and everywhere, getting every white girl he could find pregnant. Got a couple of black girls pregnant too. He got some whole black children too, but not too many. So after he got through sowing his royal oats, he circled back to the first girl that he was with, and he married her. Now you imagine you with this black dude. You done had two babies by him. He done jumped over you, had sex with all these different women on you, cheated on you, treated you like shit. And you stuck it out because no white man in his right mind will have you now that you done had his kids. And plus they wasn't really checking for you like that anyway. So she had to play the long game. So she won the long game and she married him. And what she did, and this is brilliant, and I tell black women this all the time: just be a mother to your children. Don't focus too much on marriage and dating. When your children get older, then you can focus on the marriage and the dating. Because too many predatory men out here for you to be bringing all these people around your kids. I say this all the time. Now, some people may agree with me, some people may not agree with me, but I'm just telling you how it is. So that's what she did. She waited till them kids got grown. She waited until he got to the maximum amount of what his net worth was going to be. She got money. She got business started off of him. And guess who put in that divorce on that ass? Because her half black children are grown now in their own homes, married and everything else. And she's still young and still look good. Oh yeah, she spent a good chunk of his money on plastic surgery too, by the way. So she left him, took big chunks of his money, took half, took her businesses, and said deuces. And now she with another white man where she wanted to be in the first motherfucking place. So I told him when he married her, I said, she is going to use you for all your money, divorce you, take half, and she's going to go back to white society. I told him this 8 years ago. And I'll be damned if that's not what she did in that order. These interracial marriages, they don't last, especially those between Black men and white women. And I keep telling you, the number one reason why they don't last is because they're based on a superficial premise. He's using her for status. She's using him because she is trying to get money, and she is trying to get herself boosted up out of her situation of poverty. And so if she can find a black horse that she can bet on, she's going to ride that horse until she gets exactly to where she wants to be in her destination, and then she's out. And I find this to be primarily with non-Black women and Black men. Same thing with my cousin that just passed and married the Asian woman. I thought that my cousin passed because he had the bad, he had the kidney transplant, and I thought that his kidney went out on him, that it had rejected him. So I was wrong. In the last stream, I said that his kidney rejected him, but when they did the autopsy, it was not his kidney, it was his heart. My cousin Anthony's a doctor. And like I said, I thought that he had been eating correctly and following, the nutritionist plan. Now, his wife is a nurse. And this whole situation with my cousin and that Asian lady is giving me Kevin Samuels vibes. And I'm just going to say that, and I'm not going to say anything else. But needless to say, she got everything. He's dead and gone. She got everything. And my cousin hadn't even been gone a whole week, I think. And already is circulating around the family that she got a new boo. And her new boo ain't Black. So I just want to drop those 2 tidbits there. We want to sit up here and we want to run into the arms of all these non-Black people, and we want to say they love us and care about us. Woo woo, cry me a river. Bullshit, bullshit. They have always desired, especially white women, to be at the top of the pack, and they can't make it there with a Black man unless he's Michael Jordan. And sometimes even then, it's not enough. So that's some food for thought there. Like I said, y'all grown. You do what you want to do. Believe what you want to believe. Just like I'm not going to sit here and believe any of these pictures of these so-called passport brothers with these prostitutes that they picked up in the red light districts of the countries that they like to go to all the time. And then you post pictures with these women talking about this is your woman. But I can see pictures of your woman with other Black men that done bought her services saying the same thing. What's up at Business Minded Talk? I'm about to wrap it up, guys. I'm about to wrap it up. It's so much stuff that I had to say in this early morning sit down. Like I said, I'm going to talk to you like the mama, like the sister, and the best friend that you never had. I hope that you enjoyed the stream. I hope that you got a lot out of it. Like I said, y'all grown. Some of the stuff you can take with a grain of salt because it's purely opinion. And I wouldn't even be mad at you. But I will tell you this, a lot of this opinion is based on strong observation and personal experience. So you take that and do with it what you will. This has been Faith. You have been watching The Faith Factor. I want to say thank you so much for everybody that joined the stream, all the people that supported the stream via Super Chat. And I just want to say I love each and every one of you, and peace. I'm out. Holla.